Hello everyone. I'm back with another problem in Teachers Day Challenge. It's an initiative by the Paxil in VIT Bhopal where we'll be covering 43 days of coding problems. And this is like basically a sheet of great problems, including platform like Lead Code and Codeforces. So we are on day 15. Our problem is beautiful matrix. So let us now look at the problem statement also. The site is Codeforces. I will attach the link of the problem in the description as well as the problem statement, right? It is basically a competitive coding website where you can practice problems, and as well as there are like several contests going on. So you can also test your coding skills over there, right? So the problem statement says that we have a 5 cross 5 matrix, right? These are 5 cross 5 matrix. For those who don't know what a matrix is, basically like it's similar to what we study in math, consists of like rows and columns. So we represent it using arrays or like list, you can say, in coding. So this is like a 2D representation of numbers, a great 2D representation of numbers. Uh, you can imagine like a sheet. Basically the screen you are looking at, that is like towards the corner, it will be like the matrix. I know, not the best example, but yeah. So here we have 5 cross 5 matrix, 5 rows and 5 columns, right? So it consists of 24 zero and a single number one. Every number is zero except one single number, that is one, and that one can be present at any index, right? So like the operation, the two operations, the transformation in matrix, like you have might have studied that in M2 in engineering. We have here in VIT we have applied linear algebra and differential. So here we study like matrices and transformation of matrices there. So the only two transformation in matrices that we are allowed to do is we can swap like two neighboring matrix rows, and some we can swap two neighboring columns, right? So let me explain you here. Like suppose here this is one, right? So you can only swap a one with like this neighboring zero, and this zero you can either swap with this one or this zero right here. Similarly, like this zero you can swap with this two, and this two you can swap with either this zero or either this zero, right? These are the like proper allowed uh, swapping transformations we can have, and they should be like adjacent only, neighboring, as it is said. So it is said that the matrix looks beautiful only if there is one present on the middle. Like if we take one based indexing, then on the position 2 comma, sorry, if we take one based indexing, then on the position 3 cross 3, like right where the 3 is placed. And if we take 0 based indexing, then like 2 comma 2, okay, right? So we have to take the input as well, like we have to take the input matrix as well, and similarly we have to print the output here. We can either provide like the solution to it, or we can like submit here after logging in, you can do, right? So it's a problem that it gets logged in and log out every time. So go check out my GitHub. I have uploaded all the solutions on GitHub, I'm covering lead code, I'm covering code courses. I have also covered like some basic ML projects there. So go check out my GitHub. I'll link it in the description. Here we have covered like the solution. I'm doing it in Java. You can do it in any language which is suitable to you. Here we are importing the necessary libraries. Okay, creating a class similar to the name in the problem to avoid confusion, right? And we are like basically taking care of precaution of any exception it throws. Firstly, we will take the input by scanner, right? We will create a scanner object. We will initialize I to 1 and j to 1. Like these are our pointers which will traverse in a row and column in our 2D array. So for those who don't know, for traversing into a 2D array, like we need I and j, two pointer, one for traversing into the row and one for traversing into the column. So we'll initialize into 1, we will run a for loop that will run from 1 to 5, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it will keep incrementing. And if like we encounter 1, right, so we have to input the matrix as well. So we keep entering the numbers, and if we encounter 1 here, we will break the loop, right? If the loop is broken, like the if 1 is encountered as the input, the loop will break, and then we will increment the j. Like if I is equal to 5, we will increment the j and we will put I to 0. So now let me explain the logic, like how it works. So we are taking the input of rows and we are taking the input of columns. You can also do it by using two for loop, but I have done separately by using two pointer because then our time complexity will be bigger and square, right? So we will create the array, right? We will create the 2D array or the matrix as it is called in the problem. And then like suppose we'll enter 0, 0, 0 everywhere. And if a 1 is encountered, we will for like ease for basic, I have one more solution for it, just like show it over here. So we will take and we will initialize row and columns to 0. So for like two for loops, we will keep entering our number. If the entry is 1, we will like keep the entry stored in row in I and column in J. So what will happen, like suppose we are filling this matrix and if like 1 is encountered over here, so we will store the row number and the column number in I and J, right? So we'll get where our 1 is located in the matrix and then we know our final destination, like where we have to keep the 1 that is in the middle, either at 2 comma 2 if you are following 0 based index, or at 1 comma 1 if you are following the at 3 comma 3 if you are following the 0 based index, and 2 comma 2 if you are following the 1 based index, right? Then what we'll do, we will swap like uh, a variable swap I have created in variable 0. So what I will do is it will like calculate the total number of operations that I have to perform in order to bring the number 1 to the middle. So the middle position is 2 comma 2 as we know, right? And the current position of 1 is I comma j. So I will have to subtract, and to avoid like the sign minus and plus, I have used java.lang.math class and I have used the absolute value, right? It will do the sum. You can also like create a variable name sum name, right? I just created it as swap, which is wrong. Like we should keep the name very similar to the operations we are performing so that a third person who is looking at our code should get the like basically what our naming convention is based on, right? ऐसे ही कुछ भी नहीं करते ना. So at the end we'll print out the swap. So I have checked and run this. It is running fine. I've submitted on Codeforces as well. So I'm here saving it in my GitHub because at Teachers Day Challenge we do each problem every day. We upload it on GitHub. I try to record like each and every day as a interview or as a problem solving approach that improves my speaking skills as well as gives me confidence, right? And this is the repository you can check out. This is my GitHub account. You can like follow me here. I upload not regularly, but yeah, I upload some stuff whatever I'm doing. So thank you so much. This is it with today's video. I'll meet you on some another day where I will be solving another problem.